मुझे
Zia, over to you.
Okay,
No, one
welcome
second,
everyone.
Zia, over to you.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Rizwan. And let's start the program. And you know that today we are having another guest lecture, Dr. Sara Musavi, and we have an interactive session with her. And before we start our program, I request Ataullah, the class 7th standard from the city school, to recite few verses from the Holy Quran. And then I'll give the introduction of Dr. Sara. So over to
Give me a
Ataullah.
minute. I need to cover my head. Give me a minute.
السلام عليكم سر. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا. يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا. ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا. إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا. तर्जुमा। रब आसमानों का और जमीन का और जो कुछ उनके दरमियान है बहुत मेहरबान, वो उस बात से करने की कुदरत नहीं रखते जिस दिन रूह और फरिश्ते सफ बांधे खड़े होंगे, न बोल सकेंगे मगर जिसको रहमान ने इजाजत दी और बोलेगा ठीक बात, ये दिन बरहक है। बस जो कोई चाहे अपने रब के पास ठिकाना बनाए। बेशक हमने तुम्हें करीब आने वाले अज़ाब से डराया जिस दिन आदमी देख लेगा जो इसके हाथों ने आगे भेजा और काफिर कहेगा काश मैं मिट्टी होता। सदक़ल्लाहुल अज़ीम।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया Ataullah for this beautiful rendition from the Holy Quran. And now it's my honor to introduce the speaker, Dr. Sara Musavi. And this is something which I gathered from while we had a discussion with the Sara. So what I found is Dr. Sara is a very dedicated community builder and certified health and wellness coach based in Ottawa, Canada. And she is known for her compassionate approach to promoting healthier living and empowering individuals to take charge of their physical and emotional well being. With a strong commitment to community development and preventive health, she has become a respected voice in the field of holistic wellness. Right now, she was also discussing about the creating of wellness center in Aligarh. So this is her passion. And she holds a master's degree in health administration from the University of Ottawa, where she developed expertise in health systems, public health policies, and leadership within healthcare organizations. Her academic training enables her to bridge the gap between individual health needs. As a certified health and wellness coach, she works with diverse populations to help them achieve sustainable lifestyle improvements. Her work focuses on evidence based strategies in nutrition, stress management, habit formation, behavioral change, and strengthening mental resilience. In addition to one-on-one coaching, Dr. Sara Musavi contributes significantly as a community builder. She regularly organizes workshops, interactive sessions, and health awareness campaigns aimed at empowering families, youth, and underserved groups. She is widely appreciated for her empathetic communication style, her ability to simplify complex health concepts, and her unwavering commitment to helping people live healthier and more meaningful lives. Her professional journey continues to inspire many as she being an Alig, daughter of Professor Abbas Hussain Musavi, who was a faculty member at Aligarh Muslim University and founder of the Department of Wildlife Sciences, which was established in 1986. For young participants, especially for the SSGE scholars, I would like to tell them that Dr. Salim Ali, the doyen of Indian ornithology, played a pivotal role in establishment of the department with Professor Abbas Musavi, the father of Dr. Sara. So the department has a unique distinction of being the first and only postgraduate department in the Indian university system to formally start education and scientific research in the field of wildlife conservation and management. Today, the department is recognized all over the country for its quality trained human resource in wildlife. And one more thing which I would like to inform that she is the elder sister of our own Imran Musi, who was also the high school batchmate of 1987. So with this, I request Dr. Sara to please share your views for our SSG young scholars on diabetes myth, which is a very important topic for all of us. And I also hope that most of you SSG scholars might have seen the reel which I shared. I think that reel will help Sara to share her views on this diabetes mellitus. So over to Dr. Sara.
थैंक यू सो मच। और मैं शुरू तो उर्दू से ही करूँगी क्योंकि मुझे वो मेरी मादरी ज़बान है और उसमें ही सबसे ज़्यादा दिल की बात निकलती है। और मुझे मौका मिल रहा है आज लोगों से बात करने का जो उर्दू समझ सकते हैं। तो आपने तो इतना बड़ा इंट्रोडक्शन दे दिया कि मैं सोच रही थी शायद कोई और स्पीकर आ रहा है यहाँ पर। तो शुक्रिया बहुत बहुत आपके इतने
आपसे
जेनरस
डिस्कशन वर्क के बाद जी जी
तो शुक्रिया बहुत बहुत। मैंने शायद कभी इस तरह से अपनी तारीफें नहीं सुनी है, तो मुझको थोड़ा सा अपने आप को नोचना पड़ा कि मेरी बात हो रही है। लेकिन शुक्रिया, आपने मेरे वालिद का जिक्र किया और उनका तो रोल बहुत अहम रहा यूनिवर्सिटी की लाइफ में। लेकिन एक चीज़ जो आपने शायद किसी को भी नहीं अंदाज़ा होता है कि इसमें मेरी वालदा का बहुत बड़ा रोल, जो कि खुद भी यूनिवर्सिटी की ही प्रोफेसर थी
प्रोफेसर जी
मैथमेटिक्स डिपार्टमेंट
जी
में, डॉक्टर बिल्किस मुसवी। और
राइट
हमारी
जी
अम्मी का सबसे बड़ी जो उनकी बात है जो लोगों को शायद नहीं पता है कि वो जब बड़ी हो रही थी अलीगढ़ में, तो वो बहुत ही उनके माली हालात पार्टीशन के बाद ऐसे हो गए थे कि साल में उनके शायद 6 कपड़े बनते थे और 2 जूते होते थे उनके पास। और वो लाल डिग्गी पर एक मकान में रहती थी अपने वालिद और भाई बहन के साथ। और वहाँ से पैदल चल के मैथमेटिक्स डिपार्टमेंट आती थी। और उन्होंने खूब गोल्ड मेडल्स पाए। और बुर्का पहनती थी, पूरा सिर्फ बुर्का नहीं बल्कि दस्ताने भी। और गोल्ड मेडल्स उनको मिलते थे कॉन्वोकेशंस में, तो किसी ने उनकी शक्ल नहीं देखी थी। और वो यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ाने जाती थी। तो उनका बहुत बड़ा रोल रहा इसमें कि हमारे वालिद जो थे वो कर पाए जो करना चाह रहे थे, और उन्होंने अपना करियर काफ़ी पीछे कर दिया। क्योंकि उन्होंने कहा कि जब मैंने शादी की है तो बच्चे मेरी जिम्मेदारी हैं सबसे पहले, और उनको मैं नेग्लेक्ट नहीं कर सकती। तो जितने भी उनको अपॉइंटमेंट्स मिले, उनको टीआईएफआर में साइंटिस्ट का अपॉइंटमेंट मिला, उनको सऊदी अरब में बुलाया गया, तो वो नहीं छोड़ के गई और अलीगढ़ ही में रहीं, उसकी पॉलिटिक्स को बर्दाश्त करती रहीं। क्योंकि एज अ वुमन इन मैथमेटिक्स लाइफ वाज नॉट इजी। तो मैं ज़रूर उसको मेंशन करना चाहती हूँ। पर शुक्रिया बहुत बहुत, आप लोगों ने मुझे बुलाया आज। इसको ये अहम टॉपिक है डायबिटीज़ का। और मैं जानती हूँ यहाँ पर डॉक्टर्स भी हैं और लोग जो बनना चाहते हैं डॉक्टर्स। और मैंने पीएचडी की इसी पूरे साइंस की दुनिया में रहकर, और साइंस के अलावा मैंने शुरू ज़िंदगी में हमने कोई भी हमारा इलाज जो था वो डॉक्टर्स के अलावा किसी ने नहीं किया। तो बहुत लंबा टॉपिक है ये कि मेडिसिन और बाकी और होलिस्टिक ट्रीटमेंट्स क्या हो सकते हैं। तो मैंने सोचा मैं इसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा रोशनी डालूं कि हम और चीज़ें क्या छोड़े दे रहे हैं। जब हम सिर्फ मेडिकल साइंस अगर देखते हैं तो उसका अपना मकाम है मेडिकल साइंस का। और मेरे ख्याल में मेडिकल साइंस और ज़्यादा तरक्की करेगी अगर वो थोड़ा सा अपनी रोशनी को बड़ा एंगल दे और देखे कि मेडिकल साइंस तो 200 साल ही हुए हैं रिसर्च को, साइंटिफिक रिसर्च को, उसके पहले 5,000 साल पहले क्या हो रहा था और वो प्रैक्टिशनर्स क्या कर रहे हैं और लोगों को इस वक्त असल में फ़ायदा किस चीज़ से हो रहा है। क्योंकि फंक्शनल मेडिसिन भी एक ब्रांच अब हो गई है मेडिसिन में, जो कि नेचुरल ट्रीटमेंट्स के ऊपर एम्फेसिस देती है। तो कैसे इसको आगे बढ़ाऊं मैं? I think okay. So I think I was requested to talk in English, so let's do that. So my introduction has been given. I just wanted to talk about my diabetes story. So when I was growing up and studying biochemistry, we always learned that okay, diabetes is genetics. So in my family nobody has ever had diabetes or things related to diabetes. I never considered that I would ever be in that diabetes zone, so I never even tried to study about it. I found it very boring to study diabetes. So what happened was that when I came to Canada and I had my child, and I started putting on a lot of weight. So then I would have migraines. And in the medical world, I did not find any answers. In fact, I started having eczema. And so there was nothing more than painkillers for the headaches. There was nothing for losing weight. So anyways, I certified myself as a health coach and I lost my weight and I thought I'm good to go. But in 2019, on a regular blood test, my doctor told me, oh, well, you are diabetic now. And that came as a surprise. Like, how am I diabetic? What happened? And he said, well, you have to get on to metformin, which is the medication of choice. So by now, I had already understood the power of natural healing. So I said, no, I don't want to get into any fear. I want to explore. I'm going to study. I'm a biochemist. I think I want to figure it out with natural stuff because I have gone back to my weight. And by then I had also started an organic community garden, this is the picture of that organic garden that I started. And so I studied and I've actually found coaching to be very helpful. So there is a program called Mastering Diabetes, and it is run by Dr. Cyrus Kambada, who is a nutritional biochemist from Stanford University, and he is type 1 diabetic. And he runs this program entirely on whole food, plant-based diet. And he helps thousands and thousands of people, not just type 2, but type 1, which is actually the genetic one. So I'm type 2, so that's not genetic. So I learned from him and I changed everything and how I was eating, cut out all the oils, cut out all the meats, and I was back to normal. So when I went to see my doctor, and my blood report came out really good. And well, before that, he actually told me, well, then you should go on a keto diet or watch YouTube videos of a keto diet. So I really started losing faith in the whole concept. Like, why is the doctor not able to tell me what to eat? And is there nothing I can do without a medication? That I'm sure medications have side effects, because by then I had already experienced a lot of side effects from other medications that were given to me. So, and that little note that he scribbled, go learn on YouTube about a keto diet, really threw me off. So now I was like, okay, so I told my doctor, I said, do you want to know what am I doing? And the answer surprised me. He said, no, just keep doing what you're doing. I don't need to know. So, I mean, not every medical professional is like that, but I wanted to kind of bring that we don't have to just take what we are given, be it a doctor, be it whoever, be it a parent, be it an elder, something, and be it your boss, because I am a human being created by Allah, and I have a brain and I can ask, I can question, because if something has to go in my body, I have to know everything about it. Because why would I not trust myself and trust somebody else? So now quiz time. I want everybody to um, answer or chat in the chat box. How many adults do you think in India are suffering with diabetes? Or you can speak up. Do you know the number off your head? Anyone? No? Then how many types of diabetes do you know of? I think that most people would know, right? No answers? Are people writing in the chat or something?
Can I guess? Can I guess, Sarah?
Yes.
I think about above 50% are Indians suffering from diabetes, if I guess. I have made a guess.
Okay, well, we'll come to the answers. And then, so what is the percentage of under 25 years of age population of India? And what is the percentage of under 25 years that are suffering with diabetes in India? We don't know, eh? Yeah, those are tough. Okay, how do I get this to move here? Okay, so the first answer is there are, I think 100 million is 10 crore, right? Am I correct? So 100 million people in India, adults, are suffering with diabetes. And then there are uh, all these kinds of diabetes that are known, type 1, type 2. There's also type 1.5. There's the gestational diabetes. There's type 3. So, yeah, but type 1 and type 2 are the more established ones. And 1.5 is like you're in the pre-diabetic range. And type 3 is basically those people who have Alzheimer's. They're called type 3 diabetic because if you're diabetic, you can also have, brain issues. And you were right with the 50% number. But look at this, like 25% of under 25 people are suffering with diabetes. And there is lots of research. So this one shows that diabetes in South Asians is South Asian populations have a higher prevalence and earlier age of onset of type 2 diabetes, which is what Indians are. So for some reason, India has become like the diabetic capital of the world. So just to give you an idea that it is an important issue that we cannot ignore, just like I kind of ignored that, okay, it's genetics, I don't need to worry about it, but it's not genetics. So that's because even now when I went to the doctor again and he's telling me you need to get on the medication because guess what? Once you're diabetic, you're always going to be diabetic. So I asked him, I said, okay, so what's the medication going to bring the numbers down to? So he says it's going to be the same in the 6 and 7 A1C range. I said, so, but if I'm already in that range without the medication, why do you want to give me the medication? So he said, oh, because you could go up. I said, but if I manage it with my lifestyle and nutrition, he said, well, we haven't seen that. And that's just not true. So that's another myth that it's just not true. I mean, if I'm going to have to take a medication to stay in the numbers that I already have, or someone who is considered a diabetic, then why should you treat them with medications? And research also shows that even before you give medications, you need to actually first enforce nutrition and lifestyle and give medication only and only in those cases where it is becoming very harmful and the person is not able to control their diet and lifestyle. So here's just a quick question that when you see this world when it was created, it had a lot of forest, right? And then now we see a lot of deforestation. So did just the earth on its own started deforesting, or did we as humans do something to it? And it's interactive. So I'd like someone to speak up. Like, what do you think happened from having lots of forests to now deforest? What happened? Does someone want to answer that?
Yeah, we did it. Like it's our fault that we did the
Right. So
deforestation because
now,
of commercial reasons.
exactly. So we did it. So can we undo that? Or we said, oh, now that's just the way the world is progressing, and it will always just keep getting deforested, and now we have to treat it with some chemicals.
No,
No,
if there
right?
is
No,
if
no.
there is a will,
We
there
can
is a
always
way.
go back. We can always go back. We can
Exactly.
always go back and fix the issue, right?
Right.
And
You
as you
if
can start, we can start having project where we can do more plantation and basically do the forestation again.
right, you can just see, okay, assess and say, oh my goodness, what did we do to the soil? So even say if your tree is dying, do you start cutting off the branches of the dying tree to save the tree? Or do you actually go and look at the soil and see what's and improve the quality of the soil? And then the tree will stop dying. Correct?
Right.
Right?
Or
I
often
mean,
it's watering or overwatering, and we just start
yeah, or
cutting off the
whatever. Like
branches.
sometimes the quality of the soil is bad, and then so the tree is dying. So, you call someone who knows about soil, and they test the quality of the soil, and they look at the roots, because if the roots are dying, then the tree is dying. The roots are what is giving. So they go to the foundation of where the damage is coming from, and then you fix the foundation, which is the soil, the water, or whatever, or say, okay, maybe there's a drain that's pouring into it, and of course then that's, so you look at the root cause. Similarly, when this world was created, there was lots of fresh air, and now we have polluted air. So, can we never go back to fresh air? Like, it's always going to just keep getting worse and worse? Yeah, if you do nothing about it, it is going to get worse and worse. So, should we spray chemicals in the air to take care of the pollution rather than do something to take care of the pollution that created the pollution?
Yep.
Right? So, it's like, can you reverse engineer a problem? You can say, okay, we understand what happened, or we don't understand what happened from the good thing. So we were born with a healthy body, and today I'm not in a healthy body. So let's reverse engineer and see where did the problem come from. So there are two ways of living life, a good way and then a bad way. So then what? So if I showed you, now I'm asking this question to everybody. If I showed you how to prevent diabetes and have more energy, do you promise me to actually do it? If I gave you even one thing from this presentation, do you actually promise me to go and reverse engineer whatever problem you may be having? You may not have diabetes, but you can get diabetes, right? Because just like I got diabetes because I was not taking care of a few things, and then when I understood, oh yeah, it's this. Okay, I'm going to reverse engineer. I'm going to find a coach. I'm going to get help. I'm going to study. I'll do whatever it takes instead of a quick solution or give me a pill, give me an injection, and it just wouldn't solve the problem, because like the doctor told me, your numbers are still going to be in the 6 and 7 range, which is also considered diabetic. So why would I take the medicine? Okay, so why are you here today? No one told me that they promised me to do. I need some answers. Then why are we doing this? I want to know, why are you here today? Okay, yeah, let's hear from everyone. What is your interest in attending this session?
Any student can answer this.
आप आज क्यों आए हैं सुनने? आपको तो शायद डायबिटीज नहीं होगी, ज्यादा आई होप किसी को ना हो स्टूडेंट्स में। तो आज आपको ये सेशन में इंटरेस्ट क्यों आ रहा है? कोई भी बताए मुझे।
कोई
अच्छा, बड़े
स्टूडेंट
लोग
को
वो
या
बोले।
कोई स्टूडेंट बताएगा, कोई
जो
पूछेगा।
जो पैनलिस्ट हैं वो ही बताएं आप क्यों आए हैं। जी
समय
बताइए।
आए।
जी
यस
बोलिए
यस,
बोलिए।
गो अहेड सोफिया।
सर एक्चुअली हम लोग बेशक डायबिटीज से नहीं है, लेकिन हमारे फैमिली में हमारे आसपास बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो लोग डायबिटीज से स्ट्रगल करते हैं, और बहुत सारी चीजें जो लोग हम देखते हैं लेकिन उस चीज को हम रियलाइज नहीं करते। तो कभी भी जरूरत पड़ सकती है, और हमें आपको सुनना भी था इसलिए।
शुक्रिया
नहीं
शुक्रिया।
नहीं, और मेरा रीजन ये है कि मतलब हम लोग को ये ऑप्शन देखना है कि नॉन एलोपैथिक बेसिकली ट्रीटमेंट क्या है, क्योंकि जो कि बहुत सारे नेचुरल ट्रीटमेंट्स अवेलेबल हैं, और वो सीखना चाहिए कि दवाएं ना खाएं बल्कि अपनी डाइट को सही करें, अपनी एक्सरसाइज को सही करें, स्लीप को सही करें। देर आर मतलब ये सारे फैक्टर्स हैं जो डायबिटिक को कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं। तो वी जस्ट वांटेड टू लर्न कि आपकी स्टोरी क्या है, कि आपने कैसे नॉन एलोपैथिक को जाके क्या क्या किया आपने, तो या
अभी तक आप लोगों को क्या क्या आई मीन इज इट इंटरेस्टिंग? आपको लग रहा है दैट यू वांट टू कीप गोइंग फॉरवर्ड? इफ आई आल्सो आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन, अगर मैं आपको 3-4 तरीके बताऊं, उसमें से आप कोई एक तरीका अपनाने में इंटरेस्ट लेते हैं कि आप करेंगे इसको, आप प्रॉमिस करेंगे मुझे कि आप कुछ ना कुछ तो चेंज अपनी लाइफ में लाएंगे इस सेशन सुनने के बाद?
मैं भी डायबिटिक हूँ, लेकिन सुनना चाहूंगा मैं भी।
हाँ हाँ।
या श्योर मैम।
ओके, सो सब लोग अपने उस स्क्रीन के ऊपर वो जो डिजिटल हैंड है वो आप पहले दिखाएं मुझे कि आप प्रॉमिस कर रहे हैं। जब जब तक मैं वो डिजिटल हैंड नहीं देखूंगी, मुझे आगे जाने की कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है ना। मैं क्यों पढ़ाऊं, मैं क्यों बोलूं कुछ? अगर अगर सब लोग इसको सुन के एक यूट्यूब वीडियो की तरह देख के और आगे बढ़ जाए, तो इस अगर जब आप किसी चीज को प्रॉमिस करते हैं, इसका मतलब आप उसमें नोट्स आप लेंगे और आप अपने से भी वादा करेंगे कि मैं इसमें जब एक चीज मेरी समझ में आएगी कि ये मुझे अप्लाई करती है, मैं जाकर उसको कंसिस्टेंटली रोज करूंगा, करूंगी। ये नहीं कि एक दिन किया छोड़ दिया, क्योंकि कोई भी चीज एक दिन करने से कुछ नहीं होता है। मान गए ना इस बात को? तो हम लोग एक दिन करने से तो कुछ नहीं होता है।
या बच्चों
यस
को पता
मैम।
है कंसिस्टेंसी इज द की,
यस
राइट
मैम।
स्टूडेंट, राइट?
Yes,
यस
sir.
सर।
You have seen lot of messages from me. Consistency is the key.
हाँ,
Basically, without consistency, nothing will work.
क्योंकि आज आप एक चीज शुरू करें, कल दूसरी करें, कल तीसरी करें, फिर कहें ओ इट डिडंट वर्क, और डॉक्टर साहब आप मुझे दवा दे दीजिए। तो वी डोंट वांट टू बी लाइक द एवरेज पर्सन। मेरा इंटरेस्ट इसको बताने में ये, क्योंकि आप लोग नई दुनिया की, आप सूरज की किरणें हैं। हम अगर आपको ये एनकरेजमेंट नहीं देंगे तो हम फिर अंधेरा ही अंधेरा देखेंगे इस पिक्चर में। जैसे आप देख रहे हैं ना, एक अच्छा तरीका है काम करने का, एक गलत तरीका है काम करने का। तो मैं इसके लिए तो बहुत मुझे इंटरेस्ट है कि मैं जब बुढ़ापा मेरा आए तो मैं देखूं कि हमारी एक कौम है जो कि रिजिलियंट है, जो कि बेहतर तरीके से प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करना चाहती है और क्विक फिक्सेस में नहीं बिलीव करती और फियर में नहीं आती। तो बिल्कुल दिलेर होकर, चाहे जो भी मुश्किल आए, लेकिन हम उसमें क्विक फिक्स और फियर में नहीं पड़ेंगे। ये वादा है आप सबसे मेरा मेरा, तब मैं आगे बढ़ूंगी।
ओके मैम, प्रॉमिस।
अनम्यूट करके आप बोलिए, आई प्रॉमिस टू लिव विथ करेज।
आई प्रॉमिस टू लिव विथ करेज।
सबको सुनूंगी मैं, सब लोग बोलें।
I promise we lived
मैम।
with
यस
courage.
मैम इंdeed।
ओके।
Me too.
यस मैम।
And
यस मैम।
I will never try to do shortcuts in life.
I
I
will
want you
never
all to
try to
repeat.
do shortcuts in life.
Everybody, ये तो एक दो आवाजें आ रही हैं यहाँ पे, तो 51 लोग हैं, तो ये तो लग ही नहीं रहा। तो एक ही आदमी सिर्फ प्रॉमिस कर रहा है मुझे।
नो
I promise to live with courage.
Good. And I will not make shortcuts
I
in.
promise to live in currently.
Yes, I will not make shortcuts, and I will always try to solve a problem in an ethical manner.
Okay, ma'am, I promise.
You'd write it down. I want you to write it down somewhere. I promise to do things in the most ethical manner and not fall for shortcuts and be consistent. ये 3 वर्ड्स आप लोग प्लीज अपनी लाइफ में इसको अपना सोल के अंदर डाल लीजिए। कंसिस्टेंसी, करेज एंड एथिकल। ओके, So let's
देखिए, एक एक चीज मैं कहना चाहूंगा। ये बच्चों से ये भी कह दें कि कुरकुरे और फैंटा
वो
और
सब आ रहा है,
कोक
वो
ये सब
सब आ रहा
बंद
है,
करें।
वो सब अभी
और
आ
जी
रहा है।
जब भी मैं रिजवान से मिलता हूँ सैन फ्रांसिस्को में और अदनान से अलीगढ़ में, ये हमेशा कोक का हाथ में इनके पास कैन होता है। तो ये
मजाक।
आज के बाद ये सब हम
बंद
इस
कर।
वो कोक का कैन जो है वो टॉयलेट क्लीनर है, तो मे बी ये अपने अंदर का
एग्जैक्टली,
टॉयलेट क्लीन कर रहा हो।
मैंने बिल्कुल
जी
बंद कर
जी
दिया है, मतलब 10 साल से नहीं छुआ।
देखिए, तो इंशाल्लाह हम लोग इस पिक्चर का लेफ्ट साइड में अपनी लाइफ को बढ़ाएंगे और राइट साइड को कम करेंगे हम, ताकि नेक्स्ट टाइम जब हम बात करें तो हमारी ये पूरी पिक्चर जो है वो ग्रीन हो। सही बात।
यस
तो
मैम।
आदा।
एंड में हम लोग प्लेज ले लेंगे, राइट?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। ठीक है, चलें
विल
फिर
टेक अ
आगे
प्लेज।
बढ़ते हैं, आगे
आगे बढ़े
बढ़ते
जी।
हैं। सो हमने ये आंसर कर दिया, व्हाई शुड यू डू समथिंग अबाउट डायबिटीज प्रिवेंशन and will you do it? So why you should do something about diabetes prevention? Because because you want to live your life with
विदाउट
resilience. You
डायबिटीज।
want to have a healthy body because you want to do so many things in this world. You have to do things that make this world a better place. You have to live with courage. But if you're suffering from something like diabetes or heart disease, you are not going to be functional. You are going to affect your brain. Your brain is going to suffer. So today we will talk about what is clinical diabetes, the causes and treatments, and what's the problem with that. Can and I don't want to have a conflict with the medicine world, the doctors, and that's another discussion for another day, because there is a place for medical sciences, and I'm glad that they're doing what they're doing, but we need to look at what else is also happening and is working, and maybe the doctors and the homeopaths and the naturopaths and the ayurveds can work together. And can you inherit diabetes? That's what we're going to talk about. And can you reverse diabetes? Okay. So the interesting part is that the American Diabetes Association has been functioning for 85 years. Okay. And what was their goal? To fight to end diabetes. So why have they not been able to end diabetes in 85 years after spending $88 billion dollars? And not only that, just looking from 1970 to 2025, it has actually gone up. So should this organization even exist? What are they there for? I mean, look at the stats. In 1970, there were only like two, what's it, million total diabetes cases?
मिलियन।
Yeah, 2 million cases,
मिलियन।
which is 0.9% in America alone in 1970s, not too long ago. Only 0.9% of the population was diabetic. And in 2025, it's 11.6%. And this American Diabetes Association still exists, and people are donating to it to fight to end diabetes. Can you work in a job that you go for a certain goal and you stay there for 50 years and you make the goal worse and you still keep getting paid a lot? I mean, that is the biggest myth we are living. Is it needs to be really given big thought on. Like, you've spent $88 billion dollars, you've actually, forget about ending diabetes, you've actually increased diabetes over the years. So then, who is a diabetic patient? There are all clinical markers. What they do, they will test your fasting plasma glucose, your 2-hour plasma, and HbA1c. So if you're more than 6.5, then you're called a diabetic, and they have their own range, and it keeps reducing. Like, sometimes it used to be, I think, over 120 milligram per deciliter was supposed to be diabetic, or two. Like, now they just keep reducing it, so now you're put on medication a lot faster. And then metformin is the drug of choice, which has been there since 1995, to control blood sugar. And how it does it increases the glucose uptake inside the cell so that it gets out of the blood, And metformin is actually extracted from a plant called the French lilac. So that's the clinical part of it. And, the drug works for some people and keeps them in whatever, and it has its own. So metformin has a lot of side effects too, which the doctors don't tell us when they prescribe you. My doctor never told me that, okay, I want to prescribe you metformin, but listen to this. It has all of these side effects. Do you still want it? And the doctors should talk about side effects every time they prescribe you a medication. So if the doctor prescribes your medication, it's your goal to ask the doctor, what is the side effect of this medication? Because when metformin or any medicine comes into market, they have to do testing, and they test it as a placebo. And in 85% of the cases, the placebo does better than the drug, because most of the time the person gets better just by knowing that they're going to get better, but they can't sell you the sugar pill, so they sell you the medicine. So we need to ask, okay, so if you're going to get diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, flatulence, asthenia, indigestion, abdominal discomfort, headaches, is there something else that I can do? Because it is a mild mitochondrial poison. So maybe it's good for a short time, but to live on a medicine for your entire life, no medication is ever designed, when you look at research papers, to be the thing to live on, because over time it's going to start hurting you more than it actually protects you. So initially, maybe in an emergency, if the numbers are really, really high, you give it for a little bit of time, and then your goal should always be to get the patient off the medication. But somehow in the medical world, it's never the goal. So I have a story. When I was coaching a group of people in my group coaching program, it was women, and one of the women was diabetic, and she used to take insulin injections. And what we were doing was really just helping them cook better food, eat in a different way, exercise. And after 6 weeks, she said, I can't attend your program. And I'm like, why? What happened? She said, oh, my blood sugar reduced a lot. So I said, isn't that the goal? She said, no, my doctor said I cannot do your program because now I will have to get off the medicine, which the doctor doesn't want me to get off the medicine. But if she doesn't get me off the medicine, then I'm going to actually go into coma because I'm eating so healthy. I don't really, I mean, it was crazy. So the doctor told her to have Coca-Cola to increase her blood sugar. And it's like, I don't understand why. And this is here in Canada. So again, the other myth is that Canada and US are developed countries and they know everything about health. That is totally not true. Okay. So the side effects, why doctors do not tell us about the side effects? I don't know. Like, I know there are doctors on this call. Maybe they can tell us why you don't tell people what are the side effects. Metformin has all these side effects. Ozempic is the new other drug. It's something called Ozempic phase because it suddenly reduces your things so much that people are. This Karan Johar apparently is the classic example. His whole face has gone down, and it also increases insulin release. And now insulin is a hormone that should not be in your blood in big quantities, because then it starts invading your own cells. And with all these medicines, you're actually also increasing the amount of insulin you have in your blood. So there's a ton of problems with these drugs. And Ozempic is also known to have suicidal tendencies. Why would you give a drug to someone who's going to commit suicide? So, I mean, if you're going to die because you took the drug and you had those tendencies, something to think about. Then the other thing, if the doctors even prescribe some diet and exercise, it's very blanket. It's like, okay, have keto, have high protein, low carb. They're unsustainable. People have to live their lives. People have to, attend social functions. How are you going to keep measuring all your life? You're going to keep measuring, and the stress that comes with it. But what kind of exercise should you do? The doctors are not trained for that. So shouldn't the doctors tell us, first, go and explore your other options for what should you eat. There are other coaches, there are functional medicine people, naturopaths, whatever, and see what it does to you. And then I'll keep a tab on what's going on, and we will only bring in medication when I think that okay, it's not working or whatever else. There has to be some kind of communication. And then other drugs, they also like increase your thyroid problems, and high cholesterol problems happen. So these are things that we need a conversation with the doctors, but apparently the doctors don't have time for that. So again, there's tons of research that metformin also actually reduces your muscle mass. So why are we not looking at that? So the myths that I have kind of, that medication should be given right away. That's not true. Same diet to be prescribed to everybody. That's not true. Oh, have high protein. That's actually dangerous because it starts putting pressure on your kidneys. I think people need to mute themselves, okay? And then not explaining the side effects of medications, then instilling fear. You should not be in fear. I was given a lot of fear. Oh, you're going to lose your eyes, you're going to lose your feet, you're going to have to be amputated. Like, really? I think that's just not correct. Okay, then maybe the doctors are not being taught about the real factors contributing, especially nutrition and mental health training. So they're not equipped for that, and that's another myth that diabetes is just genetics and that's it. You're going to get it. It's not true. And the medical world does not have any training on how to do exercise and nutrition, sleep, and stress. So then why listen to uh, only the medicine side and ignore the others? So, what happens in diabetes at the biochemical level? Literally, this is what happens. The normal cell, which is not diabetic, has receptors on, imagine the cell is like this, and it has the layer, and then it has little holes like you see over here. This is the receptor, which, so when you eat something and it converts into sugar, it cannot just enter your cells directly. It has to go through insulin, because insulin has to bind to the glucose and then bring it to the receptor to open the cell and then put the glucose through. And then once it's done, then the site closes. But so that's called being insulin sensitive, which means that you are functioning very well. Like a good instrument is very sensitive to changes. But when you become insulin resistant, it's because the receptor gets covered with fat. So now the receptor does not respond to insulin, to the normal amounts of insulin. It's not very sensitive. So now you put in a lot of insulin. It's like, if you knock on somebody's door and they don't hear, then you start banging the door. And maybe the door will break, but you bang the door. But how many times can you do that, right? So you bang the door and then you force the glucose in, but it creates a whole environment that starts eating up your own body. So with insulin resistance comes a lot of problems. You start get even it so after diabetes, you move into heart disease, you move into cancer, fatty liver, high cholesterol, Alzheimer's, all of that, neuropathy. All of that starts with insulin resistance, which means your cells are covered in a layer of fat that insulin cannot attach to the receptor. That's basically what it is. So, but there's also research that shows that if after eating, okay, you need to mute yourself, Mohammad Arham. So research also shows that if you are diabetic or if you're not, if you have a tendency, whatever, everybody should not be just sitting after eating food. If you walk just 15 minutes after every meal you took, then you will actually improve, your insulin sensitivity, because now your cell muscles will just take
भैया
out
चुप हो जाया
glucose.
करो यार.
Okay, you need to mute yourself. And then there's also research that resistance training, like lifting weights, also helps in increasing your insulin sensitivity. So, why are we not looking at those things first? So, can you inherit diabetes? And that is so. Now, with that, that is a very interesting conversation for me because look at this, humans have fewer genes than a fruit fly. Okay. Or no, so wait, sorry. Fruit fly has 13,600 genes and humans have 20 to 25,000, but rice has more genes than humans and maize has more genes than human. And so our total cell count is, so what is the rest? Is 56% of our cells are actually bacterial cells. So we have more bacterial cells in our body than human cells, which is good news because you can change a lot of things with bacterial cells because bacterial cells, they change according to the food you eat, the exercise you do, the place you are at, when you sleep. All of these things help you with your genetics, not your human genes that much, because you really don't have many genes. So, what we really inherit from our parents is a lot of habits, how we sleep, how we eat, how we cook food, what is our attitude to life, what kind of relationships we have, what kind of activities we do, how we talk to each other, how we talk to ourselves, how we manage our stress. All of that we learn as we are growing up. We learn initially from our parents, then we learn from where we go to school, then where we. So 5 people around you are the ones that influence who you become. Okay. So the food choices, that makes such a big difference. So what is in the drinks you buy as fruit juices? I think I shared that video. Maybe we don't have time right now, but watch that, because when you think that you're going to buy a bottle of fruit juice, you're really buying a lot of chemicals. You're not getting any fruit. And when you're eating these kind of foods, you are increasing the amount of fat around your cells, which increases your resistance to take in glucose, so you'll have high blood sugar. And then our gut bacteria, they change with the food we eat and when we eat it and where we eat it and where is the food coming from. That's a really important thing, because I used to work as a scientist at Monsanto right after my PhD. And after working over there, I had a lot of questions that why are we doing these genetically modified things? And they did not have any answers for me. So I left it. And they're creating a lot of genetically modified, foods which are not nutritious anymore. And they're now asking all the farmers to spray glyphosate, which actually creates a lot of problems in the body. You can research glyphosate, Glyphosate. That's the chemical that is being used on a lot of the foods, the vegetables you see in the market. So what can we do about it? Especially people living in India, you have a choice. You can start growing some food in your own house. You can, there are many options. So sleep choices. Now look at this picture. Look at that light that's getting into your brain. All of that is doing is that it is creating more insulin. It's releasing more insulin in your body because you're awake at a time when you should be sleeping. And that light is damaging your brain. So how much energy do you have when this is how you go to bed? You won't have much energy because you've used up a lot of brain energy at night when you should be sleeping, and that light has created a lot of damage in your brain. And of course, you are going to increase your stress hormones as well, and you're going to become more insulin resistant. Then we think living in luxury means that you just become a couch potato and you get food, any kind of food, and then you just eat in front of a TV. And especially when it's pretty much known that when you are eating in a distracted manner, then you eat more. You eat just way more. And you want to eat foods that are going to give quick dopamine hits that is going to give you just get in the habit of wanting it's like being an alcoholic, literally. All of these things are just another version of alcohol because they're keeping you away from thinking about what's going in your mouth and going to nourish your body. If you can't even pay attention to that, then you are basically living like an alcoholic. Any comments so far? कोई कुछ
Oh,
बोलेगा?
all good. Keep going, please.
Okay.
To
All right.
be honest,
So,
ma'am, the section is going really interesting.
oh, I'm glad to hear that. Okay, so any ideas on why do you think stress leads to diabetes? I mean, look at these people. Is that normal for us to be like this? Is it normal for us to have such big bellies? I know it's being normalized now and it's being called, oh, don't body shame me. I don't need to have a judgment around someone who is overweight, but I can tell people, look, you know what? I see you're drowning. If someone's drowning and you don't even tell them that they're drowning, then I think that's not right. And and this is not right. This is just harming people to have excess body fat. And all of this stress is creating that fight or flight, which increases the stress hormones. And when you have more stress hormones, then your body perceives that you're in an emergency. It stops repairing your body. And what it does, it releases a lot of glucose into your blood so you can run. Because we are still designed to escape danger. But now you're facing the same kind of danger in your mind, sitting in front of a computer, trying to work, or if someone's, not treating you nicely, you're still facing the same danger as someone who, millions of years ago was living in a cave and a tiger was chasing him. So at that time, the suddenly you get a big push of sugar in your body and you get insulin and you run, and you run and you take care of the sugar. But now what happens is that you're not running, you're just sitting. You're getting stressed. You have a lot of cortisol. You have a lot of sugar in your blood now, a lot of insulin in the blood. And when you have too much insulin, it starts breaking your body down and you start getting autoimmune problems. Then you get tired, but you're just sitting in one place. So why are you getting tired? We got to think about that, right? So there is also a lot of research how stress and diabetes are linked, how loneliness is linked with type 2 diabetes, social isolation. We may feel a lot connected because we're on your phone, but basically the reason why you are more on your phone is because you want to connect, but you're feeling isolated. And if you're sitting with a bunch of friends and enjoying yourself, then you're not lonely, but you're by yourself in front of a TV, you are lonely, and your body is perceiving that you're alone. And we are meant to be social animals because a person alone is more dangerous and can be attacked. So when we are feeling alone, our body and our brain is still going to start secreting the same, insulin and cortisol. And so I'll give you a story of another client. He was 80 years old, living in England, who never had diabetes. He was in good shape. And then at 80, he was diabetic. And his doctor prescribed him metformin and then statin. So then he came to me and said, what should I do? And I said, well, you never had diabetes. So what's going on in your life? And then we found out that at that same time, there were things happening he was from Pakistan. So a lot of political problems were happening in Pakistan, but he lives in England. He's always lived in England, but he still feels attached to Pakistan. So he was watching the news about Pakistan. And then the Palestinian problem started. And he's watching lot of news about Palestine. And then he had some problem with his own family matters and financial matters. So he discussed all of that with me. And he was staying up till 3 a.m. every night, just watching and wondering and being in stress. So now he was diabetic, but the doctor never asked him just what If you were not diabetic till you were 80 years old, and now suddenly this year you get diabetic, should I not explore what's going on in this person's life? It didn't take me too long, maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes, to listen to what's going on, what's he eating, when is he sleeping. And I said, you don't need metformin, you need to sleep. And let's coach you on how you can sleep more. And it took a while, it took a whole month to get his routine to going to bed at 10 o'clock, to not watching TV, and to eating earlier. But it took a little bit of coaching, and he did not need the medication. So, again, it just shows the power that our body has in repairing itself. So, where does stress come from? Stress comes from, let's say, two places. One is what's going on in the outside world, but then it also comes from on how we perceive things. So maybe right now somebody comes here and says a whole lot of bad things to me. Okay, in this moment I'm going to feel very stressed, very sad, very angry, and it's going to increase my cortisol. But now say the person goes away after saying all that to me, 5 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour. But now it's up to me to not be living in that same state. But what happens is that we stay in that same mental state for years and years. We do not want to forget about it. We don't want to forgive. We don't want to be grateful for whatever else. And we just train ourselves to uh, the loss, the fear, the confusion, and then we start self-doubt, and we just so then you just keep the stress built up, even though the actual stuff that caused you the stress is gone. But we stay in that. But we can go reverse engineer. Remember, we talked about reverse engineering, and you can say, okay, this is causing me a lot of stress. What's going on? I can do something for myself. Let's create some ideas. Let's do something right now. Let's start a new practice. Let's, build some community, whatever is missing in my life, that and start my way to success. Okay. All right, so can you prevent or reverse diabetes? I think you can. So these are the questions. Let's get a thing. I know we're running out of time. How are we doing? Like, you want me to end now, soon? Zia?
No, I think
Vinay,
how
I
long
think it take
how
more.
much more left for you?
Okay. So I want you to answer this in chat. What is your sleep pattern, and when do you get to see sunlight every day? Are you sleeping by 11 p.m. or are you sleeping later than that? And what time do you wake up at least 6 out of 7 days? Are you waking up at sunrise and then staying up, or are you sleeping in till whatever, 9, 10, 11 o'clock? And how many hours of sleep are you getting, at night, not from 3 a.m.? When do you look at your phone after waking up? Right away? Well, all of these habits are going to make you diabetic. It doesn't matter what age, you are going to get diabetic if you are not getting the morning sunlight, if you're not getting that number of hours at night to sleep, if you're looking at your phone right away, because what happens is when overnight you get dehydrated, and your brain is the first thing that gets dehydrated. So what we should be doing the first thing in the morning is, when you wake up, first you should say Alhamdulillah, and you move your hands a little bit and your arms, and you go and drink water, like little warm water, before you even go to the washroom. Uh, and then you go to the washroom, move your body, and you do your prayers, and then you go outside and you walk. That's how you will make sure that your body stays strong. Uh, and but if you're looking at your phone, then you're in a dehydrated state, and looking at the phone often will cause a lot of stress, because some message here, da 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 da, and now you're not even thinking about yourself. So now you're dehydrated, and you've got high cortisol, high sugar, high insulin. So what are you doing? You're breaking up your body. Now, do you have an attitude of gratitude? Do you listen to yourself? Do you do some deep breathing, especially when you're stressed out, rather than stay in that stress mode? Do you have a mentor? Do you know someone who can coach you when you're in, going through confusion, or you're by yourself? Do you have a good social life? Do you laugh a lot? Are you able to feel grateful for, anything, just for being alive? Are you able to forgive people? That attitude either sets you up for a more robust, strong future, or it sets you up to get diabetic. Then, in your food, are you eating real foods that nature has grown and then just cooking them in good medium? Or you're using fried stuff, you're eating out a lot, you're eating packaged things? Are you snacking all the time? You're just sitting and eating and not moving. Uh, are you eating more plants and low fat? Are you going to restaurants a lot? And then if you reduce your eating window to eat earlier in the day and not later in the day, you're going to not have to deal with diabetes. So these are all questions you need to ask yourself. Am I setting myself up for that dead plant or dead tree, or am I setting myself up for a big forest? Because inside us, we have a whole forest. We have so many bacteria, and that's why the genetic thing doesn't fly, because we have more bacterial cells than human cells, and the bacterial cells make us healthy or make us sick. If we feed our bacterial cells the good stuff, then the good bacteria will grow, and if we feed bad stuff, then the bad bacteria will grow. You will have a lot of infections, and your intestines are going to suffer. Are you moving? So the right way to move is to make sure that you do some cardio exercises, so your heart rate goes up a little bit. And then high intensity interval training is a really good one. Even if you do for 15-20 minutes every day, you're good. You're really good, because then you make yourself insulin sensitive, and you get your sugar into your cells and not stay in the blood. And make sure you walk 15 minutes. Okay, you need to mute yourself, Arham. Your resistance, you need to lift weights. Everybody, young, old, I don't care. However, you may be 70, 80 years old, you need to be lifting weights, and you need to do deep breathing. So if you did things like this, then you will not get diabetes, or you will reverse diabetes. It takes time, it takes effort, it will take some mentorship, it may take a guide, a coach, or whatever, but the metformin is just a shortcut, and shortcuts are never good. I mean, think about it. Whoever has studied engineering or medicine, you just didn't go to school for a week and you were done. You took years and years to get there. So to do anything really well, it takes time. And if the damage has been done to your body, then it took many years to do the damage. So it'll take some time to reverse it as well, right? Okay, so are you getting sunlight at dawn and dusk, which means move more, move early, move when you're stressed. If you started doing this, I mean, I'm giving you many options. You can choose at least one. You start somewhere. You don't want to do everything, but for me, movement is really important. I move a lot. I've been sitting for an hour. This is very rare, only when I'm giving a talk. But for me, movement is my medicine. And for you, it could be a starting point, something else, and then hydration, right? So you have to start. How do you control cravings? What do you do to control your cravings? If you have cravings, I think the first thing is to take like a minute and ask, am I really hungry, or am I eating just to numb myself? You know, and get that answer. Start talking to yourself. And maybe you're just thirsty. So drink water first. And if you're reaching for quick foods like sugary foods, fatty foods, and just like unnecessary calories, then it's your brain that is feeling very empty, and you need to know when you reach for those foods, what is the state of mind you're in, and that'll really help. So I'm giving a disclaimer, do not stop any medications. Please consult your doctor and talk about all these things. If you're taking medications, you check, and those still wondering, do your research, ask questions, okay? This is my sincere, I'm not here to prescribe anything. I'm just showing you what is possible. So this I wanted to show. This is my client on the left and the right. She came to me last year because she wanted to lose weight, and she was 50 pounds overweight, and she had been on medications for 13 years, and no one had ever told her that you can be healthy without medications. So for her it was a revelation. She said, what do you mean? And she was given the diagnosis of bipolar, of I don't know, like a lot of things, and she was taking medications for 13 years. And she coached with me for I think 6 months, and she got the confidence. So my coaching style is really to help you figure out what is the right path for you. I don't give prescriptions. So what I did for her and so now you see this in the middle, that's her now. She's lost 50 pounds. She met me 2 days ago. She came here, and she wants to do a podcast with me because she's figured out her path. And to her, she says that she found that connecting with her spirit and getting close to God, and she was not religious, but somehow she found a way that being a Muslim is a really good way to live a life. So she is now singing songs of Allah. She's recording songs, and she goes on walks in nature, and she's singing Ya Allah, Ishq Allah, and she's just a happy person. And she's saying, you planted that seed in me that I figured out what I need to eat and how I need to move, how I need to sleep, and how I need to manage my stress. So yeah, that's the end. That's the end of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah. Such a interesting and informative, especially interactive session आपका जो रहा, and we are amazed with such a communication skill. So many things you shared in such a short time. बहुत interesting था. कहाँ से आपने start किया? So many things you shared. Especially you focus on the lifestyle, और फिर उसके बाद इतने सारे evidences के साथ आपने जो बातें शेयर की, बहुत ही important चीज़ थी. Especially जो research articles आपने शेयर किया और जो importance आपने बताई, तो really I think so many questions may be with the students. और नहीं, मेरी तरफ से तो ये है कि मतलब बहुत कुछ आपने शेयर किया. ओज़ेम्बिक फेसेस की जो सेमाग्लिटाइड है, और जो वेट लॉस के लिए लोग यूज करते हैं, जो कि एंटी डायबिटिक ड्रग्स हैं, और डोपामीन इफेक्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट है ऑब्वियसली, जो आपने बताया है कि स्पेशली जो सिम्पैथोमिमेटिक सिस्टम है, फ्राइट एंड फ्लाइट, बहुत अच्छी तरह से एक्सप्लेन किया आपने. तो जो मिथ हैं डायबिटीज के, वो सब आपने बहुत अच्छा शेयर किया. So really interesting. Or let's see if we have questions from our audience.
कुछ हाथ
Although
तो
you
लोगों के उठे हुए
had a
हैं,
very
ये
interactive.
पहले से हाथ उठे हुए हैं या ये क्वेश्चंस
पहले
के
के
लिए
हाथ
हाथ
उठे
उठे
हुए हैं
हैं?
जी.
तो हम लोग उर्दू में भी बोल सकते हैं. मुझको बहुत अच्छा लगता
जी.
है उर्दू में बात करना.
जया क्वेश्चन ले लें, 2 बच्चों के उसमें चले जाएं पार्टिसिपेंट में. तो
अच्छा.
कुलसूम एंड आयशा हैं और शीबा हैं. कुलसूम एंड आयशा, आपको कुछ पूछना है? शीबा, आपको पूछना है कुछ? नो. किसी और को कुछ पूछना है?
ज्यादातर कमेंट्स हैं, और जी,
हाँ,
तो लोगों ने जो आपकी क्वेरीज की थी उसके लोगों ने रिप्लाई किया है. फॉर
हाँ हाँ
एग्जांपल यू आस्क्ड स्लीपिंग पैटर्न, एट व्हाट टाइम यू
हाँ.
स्लीप एंड एट व्हाट टाइम यू अवेक. सो ये सब इनके आंसर्स हैं. तो
अच्छा
देखते हैं.
अच्छा,
मेरे
तो
ख्याल में
फिर
इतना
मैं ही
अच्छा.
क्वेश्चन
जी.
पूछती हूँ. हाउ अबाउट दिस, आप लोग चैट में हर आदमी एक चीज लिख दे कि वो इस सेशन को सुनने के बाद आप अब क्या करेंगे. फॉर एटलीस्ट अ वीक आप कोई चीज नई क्या ट्राई करेंगे, क्या करेंगे कि आप जो भी आपने सुना इसमें अक्सा, आपको कुछ कहना है?
Yes, ma'am. I do not really have a question, but to be honest, ma'am, I'm really inspired by the way you made all of us understand a thing we rarely get to understand at this age from anyone. So I also personally really like the fact that I also got to learn the aspect of stress in a diabetic situation. I'm really grateful for the session, and I would definitely work upon my health, such as my sleeping pattern and my diet and all. Thank you so much for today.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. Yeah.
जी, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट डाइटरी हैबिट्स और लाइफस्टाइल। जी
Ma'am, it's an extremely interesting session.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, I want to see, आप लोग चैट में लिख दिए एक हैबिट जो आप चेंज करेंगे अब इस सेशन के बाद। I really want to see कि including all
somebody has
the
written
elders
that
here,
जी
all the
जी
adults,
somebody
आप
has
लोग भी
written
लिखें
that
एक हैबिट। अच्छा
will
जिया,
not
अब आप
eat
तो
junk
खुद ही
food.
बता दें इस सेशन के बाद, is there something that you think you want to do or try or change? Put Zia on.
Obviously dietary habits जो भी आप और sleep patterns, हालांकि it's very difficult but still we should do this thing.
एक चीज आप बताइए कि आप क्या आप
हाँ
डिफरेंटली करेंगे।
मैं अच्छा चलिए मैं अब ये ट्राई करता हूँ कि आई विल नॉट टेक कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स और स्पेशली दी कोक
हम्म।
which is
वो तो
purely
टॉयलेट क्लीनर है।
sugary. Right,
वो
right,
आप
sugary
क्यों
है
पीते हैं? टॉयलेट क्लीनर क्यों पी रहे हैं आप?
सही बात है जी।
आई मीन
टेस्ट
रियली। आप उसके बदले में क्या, हाउ विल यू रिप्लेस इट, व्हाट विल यू रिप्लेस इट विद, जब आपको नेक्स्ट टाइम आपको तलब होगी
ऑब्वियसली
उसकी?
नहीं नहीं फ्रूट्स फ्रेश फ्रूट्स इज बेटर इट्स
वेल,
बेटर
हाउ
टू
अबाउट
बाय
वाटर?
फ्रूट्स
हाउ
फ्रॉम द
अबाउट जस्ट
मार्केट।
ड्रिंक वाटर?
वाटर इज ऑल्सो वेरी ऑब्वियसली वाटर तो खैर है लेकिन जो आपने बताया कि जब भी हमारी क्रेविंग हो उस क्रेविंग के वक्त हम लोग वी शुड थिंक अबाउट इट एंड इफ वी आर सीरियसली थर्स्टी तो वाटर इज इम्पोर्टेंट।
एंड एक्चुअली वाटर के बजाय आप उसके अंदर यू कैन जस्ट ऐड सम नींबू इन इट ऑल्सो। आप चाय बना सकते हैं, तुलसी की चाय बना के आप हमारी बॉडी को ठंडी चीज एक्चुअली नहीं पीनी चाहिए, अच्छी नहीं होती हमारे लिए, स्पेशली एज यू ग्रो ओल्डर। लेकिन
अच्छा
अगर
आपने बताया
आपको
कि जी यानी खाना खाने के बाद टहलना चाहिए अदरवाइज बहुत से लोग ये भी कहते हैं कि खाना खाने के बाद वी शुड टेक सम रेस्ट रादर ब्रिस्क वॉक लेकिन आपने बताया कि इट विल प्रिवेंट डायबिटीज लाइक इट विल
यस,
हेल्प इन। हाँ
यस, तो
तो ये तो
रात
कहा
को
जाता है
खाने
कि
के बाद तो,
इंसुलिन सेंसिटिव।
रात के खाने के बाद आप बैठिए, 5 मिनट आप बैठ जाइए खाने के बाद अपनी टेबल पर, जस्ट रिलैक्स, लेट द फूड गो एंड काइंड ऑफ सेटल डाउन। लेकिन उसके बाद यू नीड टू मैं तो रात को खाने
वॉक
के बाद, हम लोग सब साथ में खाते हैं और हम बहुत देर में नहीं खाते, आई एम डन बाय 7 o'clock एट नाइट। और उसके बाद मैं कुछ काम अपने घर के छोड़ती हूँ कि मैं रात ही को करूँगी, तो मैं 1 डेढ़ घंटे आई एम जस्ट वॉकिंग अराउंड इन द हाउस, लॉन्ड्री कर रही हूँ उसी टाइम, मैं डिशेस भी धो रही हूँ, मैं कुछ और खाना पकाना है तो वो भी मैं रात ही में कर रही हूँ। मैं बैठती नहीं हूँ। मुझे
जी
7 बजे से लेके ऑलमोस्ट 9 बज जाता है बिफोर
नहीं,
आई।
ये कितना अच्छा है कि कितना एविडेंस बेस्ड है कि हमें डिनर के फौरन बाद ब्रिस्क वॉक भी जाना चाहिए एटलीस्ट फॉर
ब्रिस्क वॉक की
15
जरूरत नहीं है, ब्रिस्क वॉक की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं है।
राइट।
यू जस्ट वॉक अराउंड,
हाँ
डोंट
जी
सिट।
ठीक है रूटीन रूटीन वर्क ओके
Yeah, you
फाइन।
can go for a short walk, but not a brisk walk, because I mean, no one's telling you to go running, but you shouldn't sit, because जो भी ग्लूकोज रिलीज हो रही है वो, अगर आपने उसको यूज नहीं किया मसल्स में, एंड यू कैन स्टैंड ऑन योर टिपी टोज, बिकॉज जो काफ के मसल्स हैं, दे आर द बेस्ट इन एब्जॉर्बिंग द ग्लूकोज। सो योर
जी
गोल
जी
इज दैट जो भी आप
एक्सरसाइज
खाना खा रहे हैं उसकी
नहीं
ग्लूकोज रिलीज हो रही है, दैट नीड्स टू गो इन द सेल्स नॉर्मली।
नहीं आपने जो इंसुलिन रेजिस्टेंस के जो मैकेनिज्म एक्सप्लेन किया ऑब्वियसली
जी।
एक्सरसाइज से भी इंसुलिन सेंसिटिविटी बढ़ती है। तो
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल।
जो आपने बताया फैट डिपॉजिट हो जाता है रिसेप्टर्स
हम्म।
में तो
या
वो एक्सरसाइज या जी
और
से जो है
मसल्स, आप
सेंसिटिविटी इंक्रीज।
अगर आपके बॉडी में मसल्स मास ज्यादा है तो मसल्स ही दे बिकम लाइक अ स्पॉन्ज फॉर द ग्लूकोज। तो अगर अच्छा, और मेटफॉर्मिन क्या करती है, वो मसल मास डिक्रीज कर देती है, विच इज
डिक्रीज
काउंटर
करती है।
प्रोडक्टिव, राइट? तो एंड इट्स अ नोन फैक्ट, तो why would you do something that will reduce your muscles and now you have less muscles to get the glucose in? So
नहीं,
uh,
आपने बहुत अच्छा एक्सप्लेन किया रिसेप्टर्स के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से कि अगर हम मेटफॉर्मिन देते हैं तो रिसेप्टर्स को और स्ट्रेस में लेके आ रहे हैं। जो
exactly.
आपने कहा कि लाइक यू गिवन एन एग्जांपल लाइक बैंगिंग द डोर अगेन एंड अगेन एंड अगेन, सो a day will come it will break the window or the door।
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
वही हाल रिसेप्टर्स का होगा। हाँ जी।
बिल्कुल। सो
बिल्कुल।
वो, या someone
सात
saying,
सात भाई है some question I think from San Diego। सात
हाँ
भाई।
बोलो साथ भाई।
साहब भाई नहीं, मैं, आप मुझसे सीनियर हैं
मुझे
सरापा।
पता है, मैंने कहा बोलो भाई,
मैं
मैंने कहा
इमरान का
बोलो
दोस्त।
भाई, मुझे पता है तुम कौन हो।
आपका मैं पड़ोसी। जी जी। नहीं नहीं, जो
हाँ।
आप, आई थिंक आई completely agree with pretty much everything, and in fact just to share some more testimony to this, I have friends who have basically adopted the habit of not eating after 7, and just
Okay.
by not eating after 7 and not drinking cold drinks, they have lost more than 15 to 20 pounds.
Yeah,
Two of
it's
my friends, very close friends, सुबह वो मतलब नाश्ता जब भी 9 8 बजे 7 8 बजे जब भी कर रहे हैं, लेकिन रात में 7 बजे के बाद वो कुछ नहीं खाते। बिल्कुल
अगर आप
नहीं, रूल
रात
बना लिया।
अगर आप 12 घंटे का ब्रेक दे दें, बल्कि इट्स बेटर कि आप नाश्ता कर लें बट
जी,
खाना आप देर में ना खाएं, है ना?
एग्जैक्टली, ये बहुत
तो
जरूरी चीज है जो कि,
कुछ लोग,
हाँ,
हाँ कुछ लोग
राइट, जो
ऐसा
कि
कर रहे हैं कि वो इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग कर रहे हैं, तो वो नाश्ता नहीं खा रहे हैं और फिर दोपहर को भी कम खा रहे हैं, और सबसे ज्यादा खाना रात का ही खाते हैं फिर।
वो
और
उल्टा है। वो है ना,
बिल्कुल, हाँ,
ईट ब्रेकफास्ट लाइक अ किंग, लंच
या
लाइक अ प्रिंस एंड डिनर लाइक अ पॉपर, राइट?
या
सबसे, और डिनर जल्दी करना।
डिनर
अलीगढ़
जल्दी
में मुझे
करें
याद
और
है,
हल्का
सब
खाएं।
लोग हमेशा देर में खाने का रिवाज होता था। हमारे घर में तो अब्बा जो थे वो हमेशा मेक श्योर करते थे कि 8 बजे सब लोग खा
8 बजे खा लें।
लें, नॉट आफ्टर 8। लेकिन
हाँ,
वहां पे एक आम तौर पे 10 बजे लोग खा रहे हैं, आम एक वो है, विच इज नॉट
अरे
हेल्दी एट
10
ऑल।
नहीं, रातों को देर तक जागने का जो नया चलन बन गया है, वो लगता
जी
है
जी।
कि हम अब बड़े प्रॉस्परस, सक्सेस का मतलब जो अब हो गया है इंडिया में, वो ये कि हाँ, कितनी देर तक आप रात को जाग सकते हैं, कितना ज्यादा से ज्यादा आप रेस्टोरेंट्स में खा सकते हैं, और और
या,
कितना लैविश आप खा सकते हैं, तो फिर आप सक्सेसफुल हैं।
जी जी।
और मैं देखती हूँ कितने लोग, मतलब रेस्टोरेंट्स में जाके तस्वीरें खींच खींच के, लाइक व्हाई व्हाई आर
That's
यू
घर में
सो
घर
ऑब्सेस्ड
में
विद
खाना नहीं
फूड?
मिल रहा
हाँ,
है।
हाँ,
घर में
घर
खाना
में
नहीं
खाना
बन रहा।
नहीं बन रहा, तो रेस्टोरेंट में खा के दिखा रहे हैं कि हम वो हो गए हैं, महाराजा हो गए हैं। आई मीन, इट्स गोइंग टू कम बैक टू बाइट देम, बिकॉज मैं तो देख रही हूँ यहाँ पर
कल्चर है,
कि,
शो ऑफ का कल्चर हो गया
चले। लेट्स टेक
अनफॉर्चुनेटली।
क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम स्टूडेंट
यस,
फरमान।
कि कोई नहीं, जीओएस का
या वो
हाथ उठा हुआ
मेन
है और
ही इज
कुलसुम का उठा हुआ है।
फरमान, you have a question? If not, Kulsum, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Yeah, just ask. पूछे बेटा।
Ma'am, I was asking that I
आवाज नहीं आ रही है इनकी।
या आपका कनेक्शन सही
was
नहीं है
asking that
फरमान।
if someone is not having diabetes right now, but
हम्म,
have irregular eating habits
हम्म,
and sleeping at late night,
हम्म। तो
So, what is the question?
वो डायबिटिक हो जाएंगे, आई कैन एटलीस्ट से दैट।
Okay,
अगर,
Kulsum, you can go ahead because his connection is not okay,
हाँ,
Farman.
Yes, sir.
हम्म,
Yes, sir. I am going to tell that after listening to your session, I will start eating healthy and
व्हाट डू यू
balanced
मीन
meal
बाय दैट?
every day. As you told, I will try to eat more fruits, vegetables, and proteins, and avoid too much sugar or junk food as I have done till now. They will help me to stay active, keep my blood sugar steady, and take care of my health. What I am not doing till now,
and while managing my studies, I have to take care my of my health too. And I have a question that what simply habits and what simple habit can a student like me follow to stay healthy and keep blood sugar under control?
Okay, so first you should drink a lot of water. Okay, make sure you're drinking good water, um, and not from plastic water bottles. Okay, uh, and definitely only eat food cooked at home. I grew up like that. Most of us here, I think Rizwan or Saad, we were eating at home, right? There
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
there wasn't a lot of options for us to go eat out.
Actually, maybe once in the
Yeah.
whole year, one time maybe. We did not have any.
Yeah, I mean, I know boys were eating more at the ढाबा, but that उस जमाने में बाहर ढाबे में भी अच्छा खाना ही मिलता था, लाइक वो जो सिद्दीक के कबाब वगैरह होते थे, तो वो अच्छे ही होते थे। और लेकिन अब क्या हो गया है बेटा कि ये जो बाहर का खाना मिल रहा है वो बहुत ही बुरे इंग्रेडिएंट्स इस्तेमाल हो रहे हैं। और वो उसकी शेल्फ लाइफ बढ़ाने के लिए उसमें बहुत सारे केमिकल्स डाले जा रहे हैं, तो वो खाना भी नहीं क्वालिफाई करता है। तो रेस्टोरेंट्स में तो पैसा बर्बाद करना है, वो पैसा आप अपने खाते में डाल दीजिए। और दूसरा ये कि आप ये जो भी पैकेज्ड फूड है, ये पैकेज्ड फूड को बैन होना चाहिए, क्योंकि उसमें बहुत सारे कलर्स डाले जा रहे हैं उसमें। अगर आप इंग्रेडिएंट लिस्ट ही पढ़ लें तो खाना तो उसमें है ही नहीं। और खाना अल्लाह मियाँ ने हमको जमीन से पैदा करके दिया था, पैकेजेस में तो नहीं दिया था ना। तो ये जो जिस्म अल्लाह ने दिया है, जिससे आप डॉक्टर, इंजीनियर, सॉफ्टवेयर साइंटिस्ट का पायलट बनना चाहती हैं, तो वो कुरकुरे के ऊपर वो ब्रेन नहीं, इट वोंट रेस्ट ऑन अ बॉडी मेड आउट ऑफ कुरकुरे। तो आपको अपना गोल को अहम रखना है। और जब वंस यू नो व्हाई यू आर डूइंग दिस, देन हाउ यू विल डू इट बिकम्स इजियर। बिकॉज आपका गोल ये नहीं है कि यू आर वन ऑफ द like the average people. Your goal, because you're part of this academy, I'm sure it is to be above the average. So जब आप above the average आप performance करना चाहती हैं, आप अपने life में आपका profession above the average होगा, तो आपका खाना पीना, आपका सोना, आपका थिंकिंग, वो भी तो above average ही होनी पड़ेगी ना। So don't do what everybody is doing around you. Be the leader and do something different. And now you've learned some things, and take one thing at a time. आप खाने में आप घर का खाना पका हुआ खाइए, घर की दाल, रोटी, सब्जी, गोश्त, जो भी घर में पक रहा है आप वो खाइए। और आप यकीन मानिए कि जब मैं कॉलेज में पढ़ती थी वहाँ, तो हमारे कैंटीन था उसमें कॉलेज में, और हमारी सब दोस्तें जाती थी, लेकिन मेरा कभी दिल ही नहीं चाहता था। आई यूज्ड टू गो विद देम बट आई नेवर एट विद देम। इट वाज सो वियर्ड। मैं अब सोचती हूँ कि मैं सब वो क्या था, ब्रेड रोल, श्रेड रोल कुछ बनता था, और मैं बस बैठी रहती थी, मैं चाय भी नहीं पीती थी। फिर हम जब डिपार्टमेंट में चले गए तो उधर सब लोग जाते थे समोसे खाने, मैं समोसे भी नहीं खाती थी। तो आई डोंट नो, मे बी आई वॉज जस्ट सेटिस्फाइड इनसाइड, जो घर में खा के आती थी दैट वॉज इनफ। सो यू हैव टू स्टार्ट थिंकिंग हाउ you can be around people eating differently and still not indulge in it. So I never told them कि तुम मत खाओ. I never even thought about it कि ये खराब है. I just didn't eat it. So you can try doing that.
Farman, your
Thank
question
you.
is done. Farman?
No, sir, my question is not done. Actually, my question was
Because
something
we are
different.
not able to hear you. That's the problem, right? So, okay, so
Yes,
can
sir,
you
I can
ask now
understand.
quickly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I can ask quite quickly. The question was simply that's of course very genuine, and that was if someone is not following all the things that you have told here right now, that mean that he's not using not in proper cycle of sleep, and he's using some stuffs for eating, not out of good value for the health. Then what are the most early signs he is going to encounter first?
I think it can be any of these.
I
Like
think I'm
you will
clear.
be tired. First thing, you will be very tired. And two is that you might start seeing some weight creep up on you, like if you're not even moving much, then it's called love handles. So around your waist and your belly, you will see more fat. You might even see, hormonal disbalance, and you can see on your arms over here, you start getting little bumps, like it's like pimples on the arms over here. That shows that you have thyroid imbalance. So, uh, yeah, the first is fatigue. You'll be very tired and you will not be energetic. You'll see some fat on yourself and you'll see some skin problems as well. Do you see
Okay.
any of those with you?
No, ma'am, of course not.
Good, Allah ka shukr. So don't push yourself that far that you start seeing it. So make sure you're well hydrated. Drinking water is so important. We are 70% of our body is water. So always, when I'm sitting over here, I always have something to drink, and it's my tea. I make tulsi tea or dandelion tea or whatever. It's my lifeline. I get in the car, I always have a bottle with me. I don't buy plastic. Don't buy plastic bottles. They are cancerous. So those are little things, you have to make small shifts. You can't do everything all at once, but just knowing, but definitely make sure there's somebody, you already are part of this mentoring academy, and maybe over here Rizwan and Saad and Adnan, आप लोग कुछ इस तरह का हेल्थ मेंटरिंग का भी एक रखिए, क्योंकि बच्चों को सिर्फ परफॉर्मेंस जो है वो बिना हेल्थ बनाए हुए, एंड एवरीबडी नीड्स सम मेंटरिंग फॉर कंसिस्टेंसी.
No, no, we keep doing it through WhatsApp group and online, offline. We have sessions basically. Okay, Alfez, can you go ahead
Yes,
with
sir.
your question?
Yes, sir, sure. So first of all, the session was very good, and I got a lot of information from today's session. My question was that I was recently following a lot of news about Ozempic, which is basically semaglutide, and it is used to treat type 2 diabetes mainly. So my question was that this there was a small section in the PPT itself which stated some uh, um,
Side effect.
adverse drug reactions or side effects of the drug. But when we see it biochemically or when we see it in detail, then we can see that that drug is mainly misused by people, and that causes those side effects. So my question was, can we take Ozempic with the help of professionals and a lot of doctors, a full team of doctors, and will it help us to treat our diabetes or not?
It's actually, now research is showing that it's actually very dangerous. So why would you do that and not change your lifestyle? And I mean, I don't see why any drug should be used for long term, especially for young
Yeah.
people, right? It is, they are chemicals. See, all these drugs that are coming in the market, nothing is known as a long term. It's very recent. Even like metformin, we know the side effects. Statins, there's huge research already in statins cause diabetes. So there is no drug that you will take for your whole life that will give you a very good health. It kind of maintains it, but it has a lot of side effects. So whenever these drugs do come in market or they're done research, the advice is always that don't use these drugs as your first choice of defense. Always get the patient to be coached or mentored to use nature and lifestyle and food, but maybe use these drugs for a short time if there is an emergency, but it just gets misused. So it is getting misused even by doctors, unfortunately,
Yep.
because the doctors are being taught not by the researchers who are developing these drugs, but by the pharmaceutical representative and the companies. And then doctors are even paid to go on these pharmaceutical events, and they're paid big amounts to prescribe these medications. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean, that's a fact. And a good doctor, how the doctor, the role of the doctor, the profession of being a doctor, when it started was the doctor was supposed to be an educator and a healer first. And first, do no harm is the oath that they take. But slowly, the profession of being a medical doctor has become about money because you put in so much money to become a doctor, so many years. So now somehow you have to recover, and the whole curriculum in the medical colleges is being run by pharmaceutical companies. So the pharmaceutical companies are also funding research. They are the ones funding medical colleges. So the system has become rigged. So most of the good doctors, the ones who are ethical, they're actually learning functional medicine, which is how can we help the patients improve their health without medications. And I can give you the names of some of the doctors who are in functional medicine and note that down. There's Dr. Mark Hyman, Hyman. He's always talking about functional medicine. Then there is another doctor, Joel, Joel Furman, Fuhrman. Dr. Joel Furman is actually teaching people how to grow food. He is not prescribing any medicines, like zero. Then I know another lady doctor here in Long Island in New York. She is only giving food and supplements. She talks, I've got her recordings on my YouTube channel where she's talking against statins. And she's saying we have to get people off these medications. So there is no drug that has no side effect, except I think ivermectin is the only one, and ivermectin is extracted from onion seeds. So for diabetes, guess what? Kalonji is a really, really good cure because it lowers blood sugar. So if you have kalonji after your food, I think for diabetics, it's like the oil, if you use the black, and it's called the black seed oil, you use 1 teaspoon of that oil after food, you will actually become more insulin sensitive. So I will never be the one who will ever say that, oh, yeah, there will be a safe way of taking these medications on a long term basis, because you never get off medications. And I've seen that on myself and I've studied it. And most of these diseases, like I said, 95% of these, what you call chronic diseases, are coming from stress. You know, even the foods we choose, if we are choosing high fatty foods, it's because we are stressed. It's because we are looking for an instant source of dopamine. It's because we are sad or in grief, or we are upset, or we are confused, or we are lonely. And we're treating ourselves initially with junk food, and then that junk food has created insulin resistance. So now we want to treat it with medications. And that's the bad way of doing things. I know the good way of doing things. And if you go to a functional medicine doctor, he will not prescribe you any of these Ozempics. Like Ozempics is not safe at all.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. Yeah. And natural therapy is better. I mean, is always good. Yeah.
Right. And so in India itself, there's a lot more options. And I'm working very closely with Dr. Abdul Karim, who is in Kerala, and he runs this center called Hygiene Cure. I think you can do like online consultations, but the best is to go there, spend a week or 2 weeks over there, and Mujib has already done it. So next time आप एक session मुजीब के साथ करें, उनका जो एक्सपीरियंस रहा डॉक्टर करीम के वेलनेस सेंटर में जाकर, मुजीब की सारी मेडिकेशंस ख़त्म हो गई, बिकॉज मुजीब केम टू मी in my program for acid problems, and I told him अगर आप ये antacids लेते रहे, and he'd been taking it for a long time, it's going to create bigger and bigger problems. So somehow he understood, and he went to Dr. Karim's wellness center, and he got cured. Like you really get cured. Or Dr. Karim के wellness center में diabetes, cancer, infertility के patients आते हैं, 2 हफ्ते से 1 महीना maximum रुकते हैं, and they get cured. You're 100% cured. And I'm going there now in January, inshallah, for 2 weeks. So my way of prevention is doing something like this. Like in the morning, I drink a warm cup of, dandelion tea or something with with lemon. And then after that, I make a juice out of, I put ginger, garlic, habanero, chili, celery sticks, green apple, and sometimes a beetroot and turmeric in it. And I blend it and I strain it and I drink that juice. And that for me is a great way to detox. And then an hour later, then I eat something because now I've cleared my intestines before putting in something in it. So you learn some things about how to nourish your body, and you will have to take some time. You know how it takes time to go to restaurants, it takes time to go see a doctor. Why wouldn't you take some time every day to just cook your food? Everybody needs to learn how to cook their food. I've taught my son. When my son was 2 years old, he was cooking with me, and now he's 21 and he's cooking his own food. I don't have to worry about it. You know, he cooks his food, he puts it in a tiffin. When he's going to college, he takes 2 big tiffins with him. He doesn't buy from the cafeteria because he can see the difference of eating food from a cafeteria versus eating at home.
Okay, let's take Rihanna, ma'am. Let's take adult if
Okay.
the comments or question. Rihanna, ma'am, you are there?
Rizwan, there is one another Adnan. Adnan Abdi, please. He's
That's
putting
my
so many
husband.
hearts.
That's
अच्छा
my husband.
Sorry,
अच्छा
ma'am.
अच्छा
वही मैं
लोगों
सोच
को
रहा हूँ कि
बहुत
ये
great,
अदनान
great.
अदनान इतने क्वेश्चन कैसे आज पूछ रहे हैं, ये वाले अदनान अपने अदनान के।
नहीं नहीं पूछा था तो अदनान हफीज रेहाना
जी
मैम
मैं साद भाई आपने खुद ही साद भाई you know me better than myself.
आई नो आई नो आई नो आई
या
थिंक
या
लेट्स
जी
रेहाना मैम आस्क द क्वेश्चन और कमेंट
जी नहीं डॉक्टर सारा का
अच्छा पहले मैं
बहुत ही
इंट्रोड्यूस कर दूं
अच्छा था।
डॉक्टर रेहाना मैम जो है वो मेडिकल कॉलेज में साइकोलॉजिस्ट हैं ये अपने जेएनएमसी के अंदर आई डोंट नो इफ यू
इनका
नो
तो बहुत अहम रोल है स्ट्रेस
एग्जैक्टली तो
रिडक्शन
ये
का।
हमारी काउंसलर है हमारे बच्चों की
माशाल्लाह, तो अब बस आप ही के सुपुर्द हैं ये बच्चे, और आप इनको यू देयर इन गुड हैंड्स।
नो नो ये बहुत
बड़ों के
एक्टिव है
भी हैं, बड़ों
बहुत
के भी
हेल्प
हैं।
कर रही हैं
हम भी आएंगे, फिर
फरीद आप
हम भी
बता दें
आपसे कंसल्टेशन लेंगे।
नहीं मैम आप
हाँ जी बोलिए।
मतलब रेहाना मैम की ओपीडी होती है शी
मुझे
इज
आपकी
एट
सारी
एट
बातें
दैट
सुनने
लेवल
के
या
बाद
मैम जस्ट टेलिंग हर
हाँ
इंट्रोडक्शन ओके गो अहेड रेहाना मैम
हाँ
जी मैं ये कही थी आपका लेक्चर सुनने के बाद मुझे जिया सर के फादर जल्लू सर का एक लेक्चर मैंने अटेंड किया था
अच्छा
जिसमें उन्होंने कहा था कि हम
आपकी आवाज कट
बॉडी
रही है।
होती है हमारे जिस्म के अंदर।
क्या?
तो जल्लू रहमान सर ने
आपकी आवाज
बताया
कट
था
रही है
उस लेक्चर में।
हम्म
ओके मैं हूँ तो रेंज में ही।
हाँ हाँ ठीक है आ रही है
एनीवे
अब आ रही है अब आ रही है अब आ रही है
आ रही है आवाज?
हाँ
जी
अब
जी अब आ रही
सही
है
है।
जी जी तो जल्लू
फिर चली गई
आप अगर
सारे
स्पीकर पर
हमारे
हैं तो स्पीकर से हटा दीजिए तो आई थिंक।
आपकी आवाज अभी भी नहीं आ रही रेहाना मैम
आ रही है सर?
हाँ अब आ
कभी
रही है
कभी आ
अब
जाती है
आ रही है?
अब आ रही है चले अब
अब
एक वहीं
बोलिए।
पे रहिए एक ही जगह रहिए बस मूव मत करिए
तो एक ही जगह
सिग्नल की
तो
कमी आ रही है
उन्होंने बस ये बताया था कि जो भी मेडिसिन हम लेते हैं वो सारी हमारे जिसमें फॉरेन बॉडी होती है वो बिल्कुल फ्लोट करती रहती है, बिल्कुल वो नहीं होती है और बहुत हार्मफुल होती हैं। और पूरी जो यूनानी थेरेपी जिसमें सर काम करते हैं उसका रोल उन्होंने बताया था। और आपका लेक्चर सुनने के बाद एंड डेफिनेटली जो साइकोलॉजी की चीजें आपने बताई सारे इमोशंस एंड अच्छा लगा, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा।
शुक्रिया शुक्रिया। नहीं आप लोगों का तो बहुत अहम रोल है, क्योंकि जब तक इंसान को अपनी साइकोलॉजी नहीं समझ में आए तब तक हम लोग वी आर इन अ डार्क पोजीशन। हमें कम्युनिकेट ही नहीं करना आता हमारे रिलेशनशिप से, और रिलेशनशिप स्ट्रेस इज ह्यूज। इट अफेक्ट्स आवर करियर, पूरा करियर बर्बाद हो जाता है इंसान का अगर वो अपने कम्युनिकेशन ठीक ना कर पाए अपने जिन लोगों के साथ काम करता है या जिनके साथ वो रहता है। तो आपकी सारी टेक्निकल स्किल्स एक तरफ रह जाती हैं और आपका करियर सफर करता है।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सही करी नहीं नहीं
बिल्कुल
इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस सेल्फ अवेयरनेस ये सब टॉपिक बड़े क्रिटिकल हैं समझने
दवा
की।
से ज्यादा ये बहुत
दवा से
जरूरी
ज्यादा
है कि
इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस
हाँ,
बहुत क्रिटिकल है, सेल्फ अवेयरनेस बहुत क्रिटिकल है,
सेल्फ टॉक, हाउ डू
सेल्फ
यू टॉक
टॉक।
टू योर सेल्फ, सेल्फ
बिल्कुल
रिस्पेक्ट। और अगर दूसरा आपके साथ कुछ नुकसान कर रहा है, हाउ डू यू डील विद दैट, हाउ कैन यू बी स्मार्ट अबाउट इट
सही।
rather than get into an emotional river and drown yourself। कि अगर अगला आदमी कुछ कर रहा है वो तो आपके कंट्रोल में नहीं है ना, बट जो कंट्रोल में है आपके, वो आपके अपने इमोशंस हैं। तो हमें सिखाया ही नहीं जाता, सारी टेक्निकलिटीज सिखा दी जाती हैं। 12 साल बच्चा स्कूल जाता है और उसको सिविक्स और हिस्ट्री और पाइथागोरस थ्योरम बता दी जाती है, ये नहीं बताया जाता है कि एक दूसरे से बात कैसे करो।
सही सही सही। ओके,
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सही बात।
चले नेक्स्ट फरीद भाई, आपके फरीद, अदनान, हफीज, आप लोग का क्वेश्चन है।
मैं दिया वो जवान किस मुंह से कहूँ भाई, मेरी
बोलो,
फूड हैबिट बहुत खराब
तो उसको सही करनी है ना।
है और डायबिटिक भी हूँ।
अच्छा, नहीं नहीं, उसको फिक्स करो
आप
अब। इस
कहाँ पर हैं? आप अलीगढ़ में हैं क्या?
अलीगढ़ में ही हूँ मैं।
मैं
मेडिकल
आ रही
कॉलेज।
हूँ अलीगढ़, हम और रेहाना मैम मिल के आपसे बात करते हैं फिर।
नहीं, मुझे जरूरत भी है काउंसलिंग की।
अरे एक दिन में ठीक हो जाएगा, हम तो वो भी करते हैं, न्यूरो लिंग्विस्टिक प्रोग्रामिंग करते हैं।
चलिए इंशाल्लाह मुलाकात होगी।
अरे इनका
हमने
खाना
अपने
बंद करा
मियाँ का
देंगे।
न्यूरो लिंग्विस्टिक मैंने अपने हस्बैंड का न्यूरो लिंग्विस्टिक प्रोग्रामिंग से ये वो खाते थे मसाला, वो छुड़वा दिया।
अच्छा,
अगर अगर आप लोगों के पास कभी टाइम हो तो उनसे सुनिएगा।
सही। अदनान,
अरे आप
हफीज।
इनकी निहारी निहारी मत बंद करा दिए प्लीज, फरीद भाई की
यार
निहारी वगैरह।
अदनान, आपका कोई क्वेश्चन है।
जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर। आप
जी वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
actually you are senior to me by 2 years and Saad Bhai is senior to me by 1 year. So sorry I told you Sarah, but since you said you called me Sarah, so I dared to do that.
हाँ हाँ हाँ, कोई बात नहीं है, मतलब सारा आपा सुन के अच्छा लगता है कहीं।
According to Aligarh tradition, that's the way.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, आप सारा आपा कहिए, आप बिल्कुल सारा आपा से कम पे मत आइए।
No, no. Actually, मैं हमेशा आपसे लर्न करा कि एक्सरसाइज पुलिंग अ वेट्स इज अ मस्ट। हमने सिस्टर ईवा से लेकर पन मैम सब लोग कहते रहे एक्सरसाइज करो इतना, लेकिन मैंने कभी नहीं करी मैम, सारा मैम। तो अब मुझे एहसास होता है कि एट दिस एंड ऑफ द, आपने बताया कि 80 इयर्स तक भी क्योर हो सकता है, तो नाउ सो आई विल स्टार्ट डेफिनेटली डूइंग ऑन माय बॉडी आल्सो समथिंग। So far I did engineering on machines. Now I will definitely do reverse engineering on my body also.
हंड्रेड
Inshallah.
परसेंट देखिए,
बिल्कुल
मैं तो
बिल्कुल।
जाती हूँ, वेट ट्रेनिंग करती हूँ मैं। और मैंने यहाँ
Yeah.
2019 में मैंने यहाँ कैनेडियन मिलिट्री क्वालिफाई कर
Thanks,
लिया।
Adnan bhai. Thanks, Adnan bhai. So nice of you. I was daring. Who's this child who's daring to throw hearts at Sarah?
चले,
I was.
ओके।
We used to. We used to look at your beauty at OLF, and now we got to see your talk. This verbose lecture by you.
चले ठीक है। आसिफ, आसिफ शकील बेग फ्रॉम कनाडा। आसिफ, यू हैव क्वेश्चन। आसिफ जो है वो
नहीं,
कैलगरी से हैं।
अच्छा।
क्वेश्चन तो नहीं है, बट आई जस्ट लाइक टू
कमेंट।
से सारा इट वाज ऑसम लेक्चर। बहुत सारी चीजें पता थी, बट जितना ज्यादा सुनो उतना अच्छा लगता है। और आप मैं डेफिनेटली बहुत सारी चीजें कर रहा था उसमें जो आपने बोला ऑलरेडी, बट वेट लिफ्टिंग नहीं कर रहा हूँ, और बहुत कई बार सोचा भी शुरू करूंगा। आई थिंक आपके इस लेक्चर के बाद इंशाल्लाह हो सकता है शुरू कर दूं।
बिल्कुल, वेट
और
लिफ्टिंग
या
आपको मैं बताऊं, वेट लिफ्टिंग जो है विल कैरी यू थ्रू योर ओल्ड एजेस लाइक अ चार्म। आप किसी के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट नहीं होंगे। आपके लेग मसल्स हैव टू बी वेरी वेरी स्ट्रांग, और जब लेग मसल स्ट्रांग होंगे तो डायबिटीज भी नहीं होगी।
सही बात है।
इंशाल्लाह इंशाल्लाह।
आई डू दैट 3 times a week बेसिकली, स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग।
अगर आप रोज भी करेंगे ना तो कोई
तो भी
मुश्किल नहीं है।
एग्जैक्टली, नो
आप
नो, यू कैन डू एवरी डे, बट आई एम
हाँ, आप
सेइंग इट इज
स्क्वाट्स
वेरी,
करिए,
बहुत अच्छा है
सिंपल।
जी, बिल्कुल
जस्ट डू स्क्वाटिंग। अगर हम देखिए, हम लोगों की स्क्वाटिंग खत्म हो गई है
बिल्कुल
ये इंडियन टॉयलेट खत्म होने की वजह से। और दैट
बिल्कुल।
इज क्रिएटिंग अ ह्यूज प्रॉब्लम, बैक पेन प्रॉब्लम इतनी बड़ी प्रॉब्लम हो गई है जो कि हमने कभी सुनी नहीं थी अपने बुजुर्गों में।
यस यस
एंड
एब्सोल्युटली।
दैट इज प्राइमरीली बिकॉज वी आर नॉट स्क्वाटिंग।
सही बात है।
यप यप।
और कौन है हमारे, कोई और है फ्रॉम आवर कोर टीम हियर? आई डोंट सी एनीवन एल्स, सो मे बी और किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन है? अदरवाइज अदनान, हफीज, अदनान भाई, अदनान।
अभी तो बोल रहे थे,
या अभी तो बोल रहे थे
अदनान
ये।
भाई अपने हिस्से की बात कर चुके हैं।
अदनान म्यूट पे हैं,
म्यूटेड
म्यूट।
है
अच्छा,
अदनान।
अहमद रजा आप हैं?
अदनान
जी मैं
अनम्यूट कर लो।
हूँ।
आपको कोई क्वेश्चन? ये अहमद रजा भी हमारे कोर टीम में है, अलीगढ़ में बहुत इन्वॉल्व है हमारे प्रोजेक्ट में। अहमद रजा बोले।
हाँ नहीं, मैंने माशाल्लाह लेक्चर सुना और बड़ा अच्छा लगा
हम्म,
और काफ़ी चीज़ें लर्न की
हम्म,
और बहुत अच्छी थी। अब इंशाल्लाह जब ये अलीगढ़ आएंगे तब मुलाकात होगी। फरीद साहब
बिल्कुल।
को बता ही दिया उन्होंने कि क्या क्या करना है।
बिल्कुल
जी हाँ,
बिल्कुल।
बिल्कुल। नहीं नहीं, वी शुड
दावत दावत
मीट। मैं
होगी इंशाल्लाह।
आपके सेंटर आना
सारा आपा की
चाहती
दावत
हूँ।
होगी इंशाल्लाह।
अरे फरीद भाई उल्टा।
उसके लिए तो अगर आपको दावत करनी है तो हमारे मियाँ को जरूर उसमें वो इंक्लूड होना चाहेंगे, तो हम लोग वहाँ 4, 5, 6 फरवरी को होंगे उसमें।
इंशाल्लाह बिल्कुल।
दावत के लिए उनको हम तो बिना दावत के वालों में से हैं।
बट
तो हम इंशाल्लाह 21 से 28 फरवरी को आई विल बी
Sarah
देयर।
is Sarah. Can I
जी
ask another question? I have a query.
हाँ
Is Azra Appa is your sister?
हाँ हाँ, मेरी बड़ी बहन है वो।
Yeah, her
यस।
office is in my house at Tarmangla.
हाँ
Her office studies for women, something like that,
हाँ
is
हाँ,
in
women's।
Tarmangla.
हाँ 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 हाँ, मैं देखा है उनका।
We lived there for 12 years, ma'am.
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा, हाँ अच्छा। नहीं, हम लोग सब तीनों भाई बहन हैं, हम तीनों लेकिन बहुत अलग हैं।
चले ठीक है।
Okay, ma'am. So nice. Okay, thanks. I've come downstairs to pick up some junk food, which you should know. I will advise my wife not to order any food.
ओ अदनान, यू आर आउटसाइड, सो अहमद रजा,
जी
लेट्स आप दुआ करा दें फिर इंशाल्लाह मीटिंग खत्म करते हैं, बिकॉज मेरी मेरी भी जिम की क्लास है अभी।
अच्छा अच्छा।
ठीक है।
चले
चलिए भाई,
इंशाल्लाह
शुक्रिया बहुत बहुत, आप
सेशन।
लोगों ने मुझे ये वक्त दिया, मौका दिया आप लोगों से बात करने का, और रेहाना मैम आपसे मिलने का बहुत इश्तियाक है। और
मुझे
प्लीज़
भी
आप
मैम,
लोग अभी
मुझे
तो
भी।
हमारे पास 2 महीने हैं, तो आप लोग अपने कैलेंडर्स देख लें, और बहुत अच्छा लगेगा अगर हम लोग मिल
बिल्कुल
सकें।
इंशाल्लाह मुलाकात होगी।
नहीं नहीं, बहुत
बिल्कुल।
मेरी तरफ से है कि बहुत अच्छा रहा सेशन, बहुत इंफॉर्मेटिव था, और बस खाली इम्प्लीमेंटेशन की बात है, अदरवाइज दिस इंफॉर्मेशन इज एनफ टू मेंटेन द हेल्थ रेट या एट एनी
हमारे
एज।
हाँ जाहिर है
बच्चों
कि
को
सारी चीज़ें
फिर
बहुत
से
अच्छी
मैं
थी
आप
आज।
लोगों से, बच्चों से कहना चाहती हूँ कि आप लोग हमारा फ्यूचर हैं, और आप लोगों को बहुत बहुत एहतियात करनी होगी कि आप अपने जिस्म
बेशक।
के अंदर क्या डाल रहे हैं, और अपने आँखों से आप क्या देख रहे हैं, और कानों से क्या सुन रहे हैं, और किन लोगों के साथ आपका मिलना बैठना है। जब तक ये चीज़ें आप में बहुत इसको गहराई से नहीं सोचेंगे, तो आप सिर्फ टेक्निकल स्किल्स कहीं नहीं लेके जाएंगी। मैंने बहुत लोगों को देखा है, वो अपनी अच्छी अच्छी जॉब्स उनकी ख़त्म हो गई हैं, क्योंकि वो उनकी या तो सेहत साथ नहीं दे रही है, या फिर वो उनको अपने रिलेशनशिप्स नहीं मैनेज कर पा रहे हैं। तो बहुत ही आप सब चीज साथ लेके चलनी पड़ती है। तो इसलिए ये जो फोन आपका है ना, इसको आप समझिए ये शराब की बोतल है, और उससे आप ताल्लुकात बहुत कम रखें तो अच्छा होगा। उसका डिसिप्लिन चाहिए। द फोन इज द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम वी हैव इन आवर लाइफ राइट नाउ। इट इज अ लीगल अल्कोहल, और वहीं से सारी चीजें बच्चा सीख रहा है और इन्फ्लुएंस हो रहा है, और फिर वो स्ट्रेस में आ रहा है, फाइट और फ्लाइट में आ रहा है, वहीं से वो जंक फूड शुरू कर रहा है, वहीं से उसकी दोस्तियां। इट इज द स्टार्ट ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ दिस यंग जनरेशन। तो आप अपने घर वालों से भी ये इसको बताएं। फोन फोन तो हमारे हाथों में आ गया, लेकिन किसी ने सिखाया नहीं कि उसको इस्तेमाल करने का सही तरीका क्या है। तो
सही,
वी
बिल्कुल।
नीड, मे बी इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन इज जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट फोन एडिक्शन।
जी,
अच्छा।
बहुत जज़ाकल्लाह खैर सिस्टर सारा,
शुक्रिया।
इट वाज
ठीक
वेरी
है।
गुड। सो आई थिंक इन द एंड लेट्स मेक दुआ। अहमद रजा, बिकॉज अदनान
जी
इज
बेहतर है
आउटसाइड,
बेहतर
या आप दुआ करा दें अहमद रजा।
हाँ, जैसे जैसे चाहे अगर अदनान साहब करना चाहें तो दुआ करें।
नहीं नहीं, आप करा दें, आप करा दें।
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा। अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम, बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। रब्बना तक़ब्बल मिन्ना इन्नका अंतस समीउल अलीम, रब्बि इरहमहुमा कमा रब्बयानी सगीरा। या अल्लाह, जो ये तमाम सेशन जो चल रहे हैं, जो सारा मैम ने जो इस तरह से जो बहुत ही कीमती बातें बताई हैं, हम सबको अमल करने की तौफीक अता फरमा। हमारी नेक तौफीक़ात में इज़ाफ़ा फरमा। बच्चों को इस पर अमल पैरा होने की तौफीक अता फरमा, ताकि हमारे आने वाली जनरेशन इन तमाम चीज़ों से जो उनकी सेहत के लिए नुकसानदेह हैं उससे बच सकें, उससे महफूज रह सकें और दुनिया में वो कामयान हो सकें। या अल्लाह, हम जो ये तमाम मेहनत और कोशिश और जो लगन इसमें दिखा रहे हैं तमाम हमारे साथी, उन सबको कामयाबी कामयान अता फरमा। जिस मकसद के लिए सारे सारे प्रोग्राम किए जा रहे हैं उन मकासद में हमें कामयाबी कामयान अता फरमा। और जो चीज़ें हमसे बच रही हैं, जो रह जा रही हैं, उनकी तरफ हमें हमारी हिदायत फरमा, हमें गामजन फरमा और हमें तौफीक अता फरमा कि हम उन चीज़ों की तरफ भी इन बच्चों को मुतवज्जे करा सकें और उन्हें कामयानी अता फरमा। पालने वाले, हमसे जो कोताहियाँ हुई हैं उसे माफ़ फरमा और हमें हमारी रहनुमाई फरमा ताकि हम दुनिया में रहकर उन तमाम रास्तों को अपना सकें जिससे हमें वो रास्ते मिल जाएं, वो जगह मिल जाए कि जो तू हमें अता करना चाहता है। रब्बना तकब्बल मिन्ना इन्नका अंतस समीउल अलीम रब्बि इरहमुहुमा कमा रब्बयानी सगीरा। हमारी दुआओं को कबूल फरमा, हमारी लफ्ज़िशों को, हमारी गलतियों को माफ़ फरमा और हम सब के ऊपर जो जो भी हमारे साथी साथ में हैं, दामे दरमे सुखने, उन सब की नेक तौफीक़ात में इज़ाफ़ा फरमा, सबकी मुश्किलात को आसान फरमा, सबकी औलादों को और सबके बच्चों को नेक और साले बना, सेहत तंदुरुस्ती के साथ उन्हें दुनिया में कामयानी अता फरमा। अस्सलाम वालेकुम व रहमतुल्लाह।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम, शुक्रिया।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम, जज़ाकल्लाह खैर अहमद। सो मेरे ख्याल से आप मीटिंग को यहाँ पे एंड करते हैं। उसके लिए